I have some very specific program for people that finish the bootcamp or they might want to switch career, and I help them with all this preparation that they don't expect, to be honest. They expect, okay, I do a portfolio and I do a CP, I send a CP, that's all, I'm gonna get a job. No, it's not that. What is also interesting of doing mock interviews is that you need to practice. It's not that the first interview is the one that you're gonna get the job. You're gonna fail at least 3 interviews at the beginning. And this is what I say to my mentees. No worries, you're gonna fail. Don't feel like that you don't know what you're doing. It's more, you need to learn some kind of pattern, because at some point you will see the pattern. But you need to learn that kind of way of thinking during an interview. That is something that you learn only practicing.
Welcome to the Top Mentor podcast. Today we are having Annalisa, which is a product designer. Hello, Annalisa.
Hello, hi. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming by. So Annalisa is a UX mentor and also, as mentioned, as a product designer. Let the audience know what's your story and why are you here.
Yes, as you said, I'm a mentor in design. Before being a mentor, I'm a product designer. And I worked in this field for like 10 years. And at some point, I started to do mentorship because I wanted to give back to the community mainly. And I started to have initially just designers that wanted to enter into the field. I was helping them with portfolio, maybe CVs and stuff like that. And then at some point, I started to also have mentees that wanted more career advice, how to grow, how to become a lead, how to become a senior. This is where I am at the moment. I basically do mentorship for designers at every stage of their career, and I help them moving and to grow. And it was pretty interesting because at the beginning you are super afraid to make mistake, and you are like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm ready. But this is something that I also advise to all my mentees. Go and just give advice to maybe more junior designers, because this really make you a better designer, a better person. You are helping out, and also you are making someone growing. It's beautiful.
I totally encourage that as well. You shouldn't be that afraid of failure because it's the way that you improve by making these mistakes. Especially if they are reversible and controlled, it's the best way to grow. That's a very interesting story. Let the audience know what's been your journey since when you started to study, and also when you started in your career. How's been your journey until this very moment?
Yeah, so I started in Italy. I was a digital designer at the beginning, and when I started to work, but I studied design at the university. I started the graphic design at the high school. So my path already, let's say, defined in the world of design. At some point, I decided to be an art director. So I did a master degree in art direction, and then at some point, life brought me back to design and visual design and web design. I started my career in Italy, and then I moved to Toronto. Then I moved back to Italy, and I was working as a digital designer. And at some point, I started doing prototypes, and I started being more interested in Android and iOS. And then I moved to London, where my career really grew, because I had the possibility here in London. It was not like Italy. Italy is still a bit behind, probably compared to London in terms of UX and tech. In London, there are lots of opportunities. For me, it was a very good place to be. And from there, I moved into product design, and I changed many companies because I was also a contractor. I had the possibility to work in B2B, B2C, and then at the moment I work in B2B. So I decided to stay in B2B. I love complex systems. I love the complexity of enterprise design. And this is my story in a nutshell. Then I started the mentoring. Actually, this is something also super important. Before to become a design manager, mentorship is something that it's super helpful to do. And this is another advice that I give to designers that at some point want to become a manager, because you can really understand lots of things. This is another thing why I started being a mentor as well.
Yeah, but that applies almost for every position. If you have to become the leader or tech lead, either manager or tech lead of a product or as a UX leader of a team, being able to have experience in one-to-ones, dealing with people that are less experienced that may struggle with something, also being able to help them makes you develop some skills that will become very handy when you are reach out to the manager, because they have a very varied set of responsibilities in terms of, okay, now you have to report to someone, now you have to manage also some people, and maybe dealing with different cases as a mentor helps you handle a lot of situations that before, since you were focused only on getting the job done and making the specific project, and you didn't thought about that was important, dealing with people especially.
Yes, absolutely. And also developing empathy. This is main important thing. And another thing that is super important is learning how to give and to receive feedback. And this is something that also mentorship helps a lot, because you learn how to give feedback and to receive feedback, you grow a lot. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very beneficial for the career, and also the impact that you have on other people is also good. It's very, I feel like it's very rewarding, and that's okay. This you have these unlock moments that the other person didn't maybe expect it, and then you have few tips, and then it works, and then you see that the progress is much faster thanks to your help, which is very valuable. Regarding other topics, because I am currently interviewing a set of UX UI people, and I see you come from a very, let's say, artistic background, like more on the artistic background, but I have other people coming more from the, let's say, psychological, which is something interesting, maybe on the UX part mostly. How do you see the sector in terms of these two ways of seeing the design part, and also the combination with the experience, understanding the user, seeing the flows? How do you see that going?
At the moment, the market is very more focused on, let's say, product designer that are not only UX but also UI skilled. I see lots of positions around that are mostly focusing on very strong UI skills. The current market is around 50-50 in terms of the importance that UI and UX have. And another thing that is changing a lot is business. It's hard, and this is something that we need to learn as a product designer, is how to talk about business. The business part, it's pretty new to us. I mean, it's not new because it comes with the product design role, but it's not something that designer give it for granted. And this is something that we absolutely need to develop. It's a lot more the importance of the business side of things. It's a lot more is higher now. It's a mix between UX, UI, and business product design at the moment.
Can you specify more on that, because it's very interesting, on the business part affecting the UX or the UI? And can you put some examples or some skills that could relate to that?
Yes, product management is something
Mm-hmm.
that we need to be very close at the moment as designers. Before, the designer was more, okay, I do the visual, I do the UX, I do the flow. Now it's more like also talking about KPIs, talking about the success metrics, knowing about, not just talking, but knowing about the success metrics and how your, not only design, but how your strategy is going to impact overall the company, because we have less and less space on the table at the moment. Usually, I mean, we reached a peak that, okay, yeah, everyone is talking about design thinking. We were very happy that companies started to embrace the design thinking approach. And then at some point, layoff started, and then companies just want to hire the minimum the minimum amount of people that they need. And sometimes it's very easy to just work on producing features and designing, and more on the very, let's say, visual point of view.
Yeah.
Less like, oh, we need to go and follow the design thinking approach. And having the business and the success metrics always there help us to move the conversation forward. We need to know a lot about product management. And in particular, when in small startups, you need to work very closely with the product manager. You need to help with the success metrics, and you need to prove that actually your work is very valuable for the company. And the only way to do is to have success metrics. This is how to be relevant, let's say, in the current market scenario that is a bit,
Yes.
is a bit strange at the moment, let's say.
Yeah, I totally relate on that because sometimes, especially on the development side as well, we tend to focus on more on the complexity side. We do some complex stuff, or we think we do some complex stuff, and we develop some features, but sometimes, especially in the early stages, you don't translate what's the importance of what am I doing to the business or to the output. You may be doing something that is very complex, but you are not providing any KPI or any value.
Yes.
I believe that also that being able to identify that as any role, either is UX or especially UX because of the product side maybe, but also on the development side, we shouldn't forget about, okay, this is a functionality and
Yes.
this provides value, because sometimes I feel like there is a barrier there, and now it's breaking a bit because people start to be more, or at least I value it, they are more horizontal in terms of the skills. Because someone is not the best developer, but knows how to talk to a customer or how to identify a KPI and handle the KPIs on the database. Maybe that's more valuable than someone that does perfect SQL scripts but doesn't know how to talk to a customer. It's not valuable. And on UX it happens similar. So that is a question I was about to ask you, because I know this end of 2023, beginning of 2024, it's been a tough moment on the market, especially in the tech sector itself, englobing also UI UX, all the related online digital products. So how do you think this UX UI sector is being affected by the market? Maybe you see some trends going on. Maybe you see how layoffs have slowed down. How do you see the sector at the moment?
Unfortunately, the sector and this layoff impacted a lot the junior, unfortunately, and the people that try to enter into the market. Not too much the senior, and from senior to lead to principal.
Yeah.
I don't think they were impacted too much. And also, if you are impacted, it's very easy to find a different job because they don't need to spend the time. But when
Yeah.
you're a junior and you enter into the market, companies know that they need to spend the time and money to train you. It's a bit harder for junior to enter into the market in the current situation, unfortunately. There are less investment to hire junior. And this is something that in particular when enterprise is very hard, because hiring junior means that sometimes they need to learn a lot about the domain. It's much more time consuming for the company. They tend to hire senior. So unfortunately, I see it. I see the market like this in this moment. I hope that in the future it's gonna be better. I see already a lot of position open for entry level or junior compared to last year. And because I'm a mentor and I have mentees that some of them are junior, I always and I constant check the market to see how can I help them, if I need to change how I address some career path and some career conversation with them. I always look at the market. So I hope in the future, I see that now there are more jobs open in general for UX UI. Maybe this is a good sign also for junior designers that want to enter into the market, hopefully.
Yeah, let's hope so. The worst part was October, maybe November. It was very slow. I had a mentee asking me for help on finding a new job, and also all the interviews were very hard and was very difficult to find anything. Overall, it was very difficult. Now, companies have provision for 2024. Okay, let's see how things are going, and they will for 2025 probably will have a new resume market. But I agree that maybe they are also. I also wanted to ask about the impact of the AI in that term, because also I believe they are start to implement these tools, and these tools may reduce the costs in some areas, especially if you can, instead of outsourcing, you just put an AI generate your documents and all of that. But I believe that improve the productivity, which means it reduce some costs, and I think impacted positively, even though the AI usage is still expensive in terms of the cost. So, and regarding this topic, I know it's very trendy. I tend to ask it about everything. How do you see the impact of the AI in your area?
Yeah, so the impact on jobs, I don't think that at the moment is going to be too high in terms of design jobs. As you said, it's going to improve our productivity. It's going to be an assistant that is always, I see it maybe more from a content point of view, because from a content point of view, it's a very, the AI is very good to provide some content. So probably it's going to impact long term the content teams. For UX UI, we are still safe for now. Let's see in the future, because we need to go with the technology. If the technology change, of course we need to adapt. And this is why I say that we need to become more and more skills in business and learning about the business, because this how they automate some tasks that is going to be, for example, I don't know, I'm just guessing, doing wireframes, and hopefully the design system is going to be much smarter than now, and how you work with a design system. In the future, we need to focus more on the business side, the business to have the right strategy also from a design point of view and from a design vision that help the company to grow. And this is how it's going to be in the future. But I don't know. This is how I wish as well, because the worst case scenario is that we don't have a job. And I hope that this doesn't happen. But I see it on a positive, in a positive way. We will have like an assistant that is going to do like the most important task, hopefully. And then we can focus on more impactful work.
Yeah, I believe that also in code this will affect as well the bulk tasks that are very repetitive, that tend to be once and over again. It will help with generating code, because I believe, or the test that I've run is, okay, if I have to switch between different projects, the context that I need to learn, before it was a lot, now I can have a Stack Overflow chat on steroids next to my code, which is crazy. And the moment that, for example, Copilot analyzes the code base, it will be crazy, because it's you basically, and you will be able to do the business logic, and that's it. And also on the generation of content, I talked this before. If you put the coder generating documentation for the code, it's going to spend a lot of time, and it's going to redact it.
Yeah.
Probably not very good. And now you paste some code and ask the AI to generate documentation. It will be a lot of documentation and perfectly written. And as you need to leverage it, you shouldn't ignore it, because this is real potential. Because I feel like some people are ignoring it, and you shouldn't. You should, basically.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Also because at some point you will be forced to use it. I guess like all the tools that we use today, slower are gonna implement the AI somehow. It's happening. It's just like we need to adapt as we did in the past and leverage. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. And apart from the AI, do you see any other trends affecting your sector? Maybe a switch to a certain feature that before weren't available, or maybe a different way of doing things. Any new trends? Anything that you see in the sector right now?
Not specifically apart from AI. The companies now, at least in my experience, want to ship faster. And that's the reason why I was saying, oh, now designers are focusing more on visual, because sometimes, in particular in startups, you tend to ship faster and iterate. And before was more like, okay, maybe let's do more user testing, let's do more like, you had more time. Now you don't have time. You need to ship as quick as possible. Also, this we need to adapt a little bit because the market shift a lot and change a lot in a very quick way. Also with these trends, we need to adapt as well. Yeah, this is the only thing that changed. In fact, I'm suggesting my mentees to focus on visual because before, this is what changed. Before, a UX designer, without focusing too much on UI and visual, they could design being more focusing on UI lately. So this is what is required from the market. But I don't see any particular trend that are like new things, like that are super cool, or we need to follow this and that. No, not necessarily. A lot of focus on UI, a lot of focus on business, and the impact of AI. These three things are the main things to focus on at the moment.
Well, they are three important, very important things. That's valuable. And regarding something you mentioned, because I had a friend asking me about this, a very topic, depending on especially in the tech sector, because this name is more in the tech sector, is about bootcamps. So how do you see impact, or I assume it depends, no, but how do you feel like the bootcamps prepare you for the UI or UX, the sector that you want, the area that you want, on to the UI UX work? Do you think that they tend to be complete, or do you think that they still rely on more theoretical work, even though you're still practicing? Do you think that people still unprepared when coming to bootcamps, or what's your opinion on that one?
It depends on the bootcamp. There are some bootcamp that I did in the past, a long time ago. I did General Assembly, and at the time it was a very good bootcamp. And I also like, I mean, I'm a mentor for Design Lab, that is another bootcamp, and they prepare students very well. Of course, depends on the bootcamp, depends on the program, depends on this focus, because some bootcamp maybe they focus more on UX. Some bootcamps focus on more on both at the same time. The bootcamp that now is valuable is the one that focus on both. That is UX and UI at the same way. And also another thing, the bootcamp is not the issue. The issue is how you prepare for the job market, in a sense. Okay, you need to look for a job, you need to create a CV, you need to be ready for the interview. The interview for a designer, this is something that bootcamp don't cover, and this is something that I cover on Mentor Cruise, for example. When I have my mentees on Mentor Cruise, I basically give them support on doing the interviews, because doing the interviews is another part that bootcamps don't focus. Doing an interview means doing a design task, doing a whiteboard interview, doing a lots of steps that ask you specific questions that you need to be prepared. So it's not just your work to find a job, because it's a work, it's a full-time job.
Yes.
Doesn't stop on the portfolio and the CV. It's just the first initial stage. Then you have the second stage that is, okay, I apply, they call me for the interview, I need to go and do the interviews. And that one is super hard. And it is like for software engineer, basically you need to do some of them give you the design task, some of them give you the whiteboard, some of them give you both. And you need to be prepared. And it's a lot. And for juniors that enter into the market, they never did a whiteboard with a lot of people around them. They might did the design task, but not in a limited amount of time. Okay, you need to prepare this and send it back in like 3 days. So all these things are super important. And there is a lack on this for in terms of bootcamp, because sometimes they don't prepare for this part. That is not the most important part, but one of the most important one.
Yeah, I can see that also, because it should be the last chapter of a bootcamp, or when you have everything, So because you have your portfolio, your CV in coding, you can have your GitHub profiles and projects out there which show your skill, and this is the way to land, let's say, the recruiter call.
Yes.
But then you also need to land the job, and the land the job is with the interview. You may like it better or worse, depends on the process. Because, for example, in tech and software engineering, there is a lot of debate about the problems, these type of problems that they use. I don't like them either. But if Google does them, I assume they have a reason to do that. But you need to work on that. You also need to, I prefer to do design kind of tasks which are design over or design something like that. It's much more value on identifying how people think. But you also need to prepare, okay, if these people are going to ask me about problem in a limited time and I need to explain the code, in your case, explain a design, why I took that decision in a fraction of a second, you need to prepare it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And yeah, that's unfortunately something that, based on my experience with all the bootcamp, all my mentees that come from bootcamp as well, yeah, they just stop there, unfortunately. While there is still a lot of work that need to be done. Yeah.
Well, that's at least that's a niche that we can take advantage from. People preparing from to interviews.
Absolutely. And this is what I do on Mentor Cruise. I mean, not only this, but I have some very specific program for people that finish the boot camp or they might want to switch career. And I help them with all this preparation that they don't expect, to be honest. They expect, okay, I do a portfolio and I do a CV, I send a CV, that's all. I'm gonna get a job. No, it's not like that.
Totally. And also, I've run a couple of mentees with these mock interviews, and it was pretty fun actually to switch the role, even though I did it before. But with someone that you are not going to hire, so having that sensation of asking people, researching a little bit, searching how do you should behave a bit, because sometimes it's not that you have the right answer on your mind. It's difficult to have all the right answer. Is how do you present the information?
Yes.
Not that it sounds okay, I memorize this because I read it on the internet. It's just okay, you need to present information in a way that you may not know the answer, but you can understand the question. It says that you are listening actively and you present information in a way that you can relate the interviewer. Okay, this guy or this girl has understood more or less, even though it doesn't have the information. It makes some assumption and then switch over this, which provides you that you are a very resolutive person. You can solve a solution even though you don't have all the information.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's also like they need, I mean, what is also interesting of doing mock interviews is that you need to practice. It's not that the first interview is the one that you're gonna get the job. You're gonna fail at least 3 interviews at the beginning. And this is what I say to my mentees. No worries, you're gonna fail. Don't feel like that you don't know what you're doing. It's more you need to learn some kind of pattern because at some point you will see the pattern, but you need to learn that kind of way of thinking during an interview. That is something that you learn only practicing it.
I agree with all. You start seeing patterns, you start seeing how the information should be presented, how the interviews are going to ask you. If they get more technical, then that's the fight with your knowledge. But if they knock it, they don't, and you do some preparation, because I feel like 80% of people doesn't even prepare who's going to be your interviewer.
Yes.
90% of people, or 99, will have a LinkedIn profile. Just check the LinkedIn profile and see what they are doing and see if they have an interest in common. Because yes, that difference of making a question about something that they are interested into can relate. Okay, this guy knows this,
Right.
because everyone wants somebody to mention something that they like. It's subconscious, but it's obvious. If you are rude or not very kind, and then somebody is asking about, okay, but Node.js because whatever reason, and then you're a fan of Node.js or you have made contributions because you saw that, it gains you a lot of points as well.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And this is also like this also relates about page that people need to design in their website. I always say put something interesting about your personal life because they can see also like if there is a connection, and this is also something that it's useful to get an interview because sometimes they want to see people. I mean, this is what Google say: hire someone that you want to go and get a beer with. So this is what also I suggest: go and put an about that is write an about that makes yourself interesting, and so that people that see your CV also and your website, they can also rely sometimes in some personal things as well, because this can also open conversation during the interview. Definitely checking the profile of interviewers, what they do. If you have something in common, bring it up. All these things are great tips that that everyone should follow when we look for a job.
Yeah, because after all, you're going to work on a team and you're going to be managed by somebody. You should be trying to agree with them and try to see if they fit you. Because sometimes you go to the interview and you don't like the people that are interviewing you. So you say, if you are not in a crucial position, let's say you need this job, yes, because you need to pay the bills, you should be able to skip it and let's say, okay, you need to think that, okay, I'm going to spend 8 hours every day with these
Yes,
people. Let's value that as well.
yeah, better to have something in common apart from from the company. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, just to close up these topics, what advice would you give to the people that are now searching a job in the UX UI sector?
So first of all, stay calm. Don't think that you are not enough, because I see that sometimes that maybe enter the job market or they need to switch for a job to another one, and they don't get interviews or they fail interviews. It's very easy to think I'm the problem. This is not about you. This is the market that is a bit weird. What I suggest is to do some user testing with your CV. What I advise to my mentees is send your CV unless you are really desperate and you need to send it to everyone. Send your CV first to the company that you don't like and see how they react, so that if your CV is good, I mean, they are going to call you for the interview. So it means that your CV works, and then apply to companies that you like after that you iterated, because you understand if your CV doesn't work, for example. You see
Yeah.
some pattern. And the same for the portfolio. And then, just this, the interviews, this is something that is absolutely valuable. The competition now is very high. You need to be the best, basically. Like, okay, I need really to nail this. If you are lacking, if your presentation is lacking in, I don't know, some storytelling, example, learn about storytelling and use it to leverage your case study. And this is the best advice that I can give to people. Don't think I'm not enough. This is the most important thing, because I see a lot of people that are struggling with also their mental health at the moment, because this impact a lot. Like if you don't get hired or if you don't get interviews, this impact a lot your mental health, of course. Just stay calm. It's not you.
Yeah, no, totally. The attitude, the day of the interviews, especially, it's something that you need to be very cautious about. Not that you should, okay, no, should I show like this or show like that? You need to be thinking, okay, this is going to be. I know I'm going to be nervous, but try to have everything think beforehand so you have more or less exits to what you need to do, and also being able to stay more calm and know the situation, because if you don't prepare beforehand and you have been rejected several times because whatever reason is, like you feel bored or tired of the
Yeah,
situation, and it affects also because it's not going to improve. You need to see, okay, it's going to be this one, it's going to be this one, it's going to be this one, and one will hit. If you hit 50 and one hits, is better than someone that has requested one and failed in the same approach. Even though you are losing time, you're spending time there, but it's very valuable.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so to finish up, I wanted to ask you about like what's your plan for this year in terms of yourself, improving yourself. What plans do you have in terms of projects or anything like that that you may do? Yeah.
Yeah, so projects. Yeah, I mean, it depends a lot on how the market will go. I try to analyze a lot the market to understand the kind of skills that I need to develop as well. At the moment, I'm focusing on product management a lot because this is something that is gonna be helpful. I'm yeah, I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I worked a lot with PM, but I'm trying to act as well as a PM sometimes to what the challenge that they have working also with designers and software engineers. And yeah, focusing on this, I would like also to start speaking at conferences again. This is something that yeah, I will figure it out because my last one was during COVID, so I was remote, and then we stopped, life stopped, but now it's time to go back and to contribute to the community as well. And then the mentoring, it's something that I love. I love mentoring, and this is something that I want to continue doing. And yeah, and these are pretty much the plans for.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot of people are taking back the conference stuff, either starting or taking it back because after COVID, now especially 2023 and 2024 are going to be years with everything resumed for the presidential massive events, let's call it that way. And you need to start coming back to presentations and conference and sharing value and preparing yourself because it's also useful. And also you improve probably in that part thanks to the mentoring, thanks to talking every day to less experienced people and help them. You're now, at least it happens on my side, better in presenting ideas in a simpler way because before it was like I will throw you this course and now I can present you in much simpler terms.
Yes, yes. One thing is that I noticed is that before we were also our brain was more used to go to conference. I mean, we were
Yeah.
going to conference a lot. We knew more or less the kind of standard for the good talks. Now also for us that we want to go back and to be speakers again, it's gonna take time before
Yeah.
that we get back fully on track saying, oh yeah, my talk is now, because before it was very competitive, it was very high level. Now that they are going back, yeah, we need to go back to that level. It's gonna take a bit of time also for the speakers to learn, oh, this is a good presentation. And this is, yeah, so speaking, how do you say it, public speaking skills need to come back as well.
Yeah, also the remote events and also that make you feel, I assume, safer because you don't see an auditorium full of people looking at you and even though you feel the same, you don't have the reactions and you don't feel, I assume, you feel nervous because you may see, okay, 1,000 people in the indicator, but it's not 1,000 people
Yes.
in front of you. That's not the same thing. Just to end up, let the audience know where they can find you so we can share it.
Of course, LinkedIn and and also I'm on Mentor Cruise. Who wants, I don't know, to I mean, just reach out to me if you want to know more about UX career or UX interviews, or maybe you want to grow in your career. I'm also a mentor in at Design Lab, also a bootcamp, but mainly this LinkedIn or Mentor Cruise, Twitter. I'm everywhere, so just
Awesome, 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 Annalisa. Thanks a lot for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks a lot.
thank you for hosting, and yeah, thank you for having me.